Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to do an update for you on the products that I tried from COL-LAB, the brand that was created by influencers here on YouTube and Sally Beauty. Like I said in that video, I was going to try out these products over the next couple weeks or so, and once I felt like I had a good solid opinion on all of these, then I would come back and do a video and let you know how I feel about all of them. And I feel like I have a very solid opinion on all of them. There is one product that I'm still on the fence about. Let me know if there are other products from this brand that interest you, or if there are other brands that you are curious about and you want me to try some of their products. All right, so let's get started. So the first two products are things that I am going to return, sadly, and they are the two face products. So the Oh So Fresh Skin Tint and the Kill the Shine Pressed Powder. So let's talk first about the skin tint. First of all, I felt this shade was okay. If you saw on camera, it worked out okay for me, but it was just a little bit too pale. Once you add everything else on top, it worked out okay and it was fine, but it wasn't the greatest match for me. And the next shade up I felt like would have been a little bit too dark for me. Again, this is the shade Porcelain Ivory, and there wasn't a tester. So that's the problem sometimes with drugstore products. I just struggle sometimes to find my right shade. And you can return, but I just feel bad doing that, you know, if I don't have to. So I am going to return them because they don't work for me and there's no point in me wasting that money to have products that I'm not going to reach for. So this one was just okay. It's not bad. It definitely has very, very light coverage, which I don't mind, but it is hard to build this up. You can get very close to medium. I don't really think you can get much past that. I tried this with a beauty blender, with my fingers, with a brush. I didn't really love it with my fingers. It was pretty decent with a brush and pretty decent with a beauty blender. You probably get, you know, the most coverage with a brush. No surprise there. But my preferred method is the beauty blender. So I took this with me when I went out of town, and I brought another foundation too, just in case. And I reached for this the first couple days, but then I just sort of gave up on it and I went back to my other foundation and I didn't reach for this again. So that told me all I needed to know, honestly. And I didn't feel like it lasted that well. And I also feel like maybe this was breaking me out a little bit. My skin is a little bit kind of crazy right now, so it's hard to know if it was completely this thing or just other things going on, but I just didn't love this and it really didn't have much coverage at all. And I don't mind that, like I said, but I like to be able to build things up if, you know, if they have light coverage, so that if I feel like I need extra coverage, I can do that. And you definitely just can't do that with this. So I'm not reaching for it and I don't love it, and so I want to get rid of it. So for this pressed powder, this is a weird product. Like I had mentioned in the video, it feels really creamy, which is kind of weird for a powder that says kill the shine. It definitely didn't kill the shine for me, which is not a surprise considering the feeling of it. Of course, I tried it on top of the skin tint. Didn't help. I tried it on top of my Chanel Vitalumiere Aqua, which is a more luminous foundation. And I tried that a little bit while I was in Miami too, which, you know, it's humid down there. So it definitely didn't help kill the shine there either. The weird thing is I use this with my Lancome Teint Idole Ultra, which is a fairly matte foundation. It's kind of like a satin foundation, and it's a very long wearing, fairly full coverage foundation. This is really my go-to if I'm going to an event or a party or something like that. And it made this look pretty bad, which this is like my tried and true. It'll make my skin look great even if I've got, you know, stuff going on. And it didn't make this look really very good, especially up close. Probably from afar it looked okay, but it just didn't look good. So I don't know what this would work well with, but I didn't find that it worked well with really anything. And I mean, it's not bad, but I liked it okay when I first put it on with certain foundations, but then, you know, it just didn't look good as the day went on. So just not a fan of this one, unfortunately. So the one thing that I'm on the fence about is this eyeliner. This is the Bold Face Liner, and it says it's waterproof, and this is in the shade Ego. The shade is beautiful, and if you saw in the video, and by the way, if you haven't seen the video, I'll put it up in the corner and I'll link it down below as well. This was really cool. It's a really pretty shade. It's a very subtle shimmery brown shade. I can show you again here. I'll put a big swatch so you can see. You can't really see the shimmer that clearly, but it's there. But I left it on my hand for a little while, and then later I tried to smear it and it didn't budge. So I was really excited about this one. I had really high hopes for it, and it's just sort of let me down. It takes a lot of passes on your waterline and your tight line to show up, which is kind of odd. Especially because if you put it on your lid, it's super creamy and it fades almost immediately on your waterline and your tight line. So I don't like that. When I put it on like my, lower lash line or on my upper lid, I actually have it on my upper lid today. You probably can't see it because it's faded a lot. It just fades, which is so weird because when I put it on my hand, it doesn't budge. So it's weird that it doesn't translate on the eyes. The only way that I haven't tried this yet is as a base. So I may try that, because if that works well, then that could be a good use for this, because otherwise I just feel like it's not the one that I want to reach for because it's not doing what I want. It's just okay. And I had such high hopes for it because of how it lasted on my hand when I tried to like rub it really hard, and it just isn't great. So I'm gonna give it one more shot, and then I might return this one. I'm not sure. These products are not super expensive, but it adds up. So if they're not great, I just don't see the point in keeping them. So the next thing is the eyeshadow palette. I have used this one quite a bit. I actually have it on my eyes today. I really do like this. I think this is a nice eyeshadow palette, especially for, I think it's $14.99. So not super inexpensive for drugstore, but certainly a good price for what you get. These are very pigmented eyeshadows. I showed you some swatches in that video. But I'll show you some more really pigmented eyeshadows. I am just doing one swipe in these, and they're beautiful. They're really, really pigmented shadows. They look great on the eyes. They blend really easily. There's a little bit of powder kick up, but nothing too bad. So I really do like these, and I feel like I can create a few different looks. And I've liked the way that they turned out. I just don't feel like they last super long on the eyes. I do feel like by the end of the day, the colors have faded just a little bit. Not terribly, but they have faded. And I also feel like, if I've used a few different shades, they sort of blend together, and then you don't notice them quite as much by the end of the day. So I would recommend these, especially if you're looking for a good inexpensive palette, because these are some of the most blendable pigmented shadows that I've seen from the drugstore. But they just don't have the greatest lasting power. So if you're looking for something to last you from morning till evening, I don't think this is really the palette for you. But I am going to keep this because I love the shades, and I do think that they are nice. So I'm going to play with this more. Now for the things that I really did enjoy. The first thing is this eyeshadow brush. This I got for free. If you spend $20, you can get any brush, and I just chose this one. And I've been really enjoying this brush. It's super, super soft, and it hasn't shed on me, and I really do enjoy it. So I'm very happy with this brush, especially because I got it for free, right? So the last two things are the lipsticks. These I really, really love. I think if you're going to get anything from this collection, this is the thing to get. And I think that my favorite is the matte lipstick. I do like the satin a lot. I'll get to that in a second, but the matte is really the star of the show, I think. I got this one in the shade Really, and it's a beautiful shade. I love this. I'm gonna get a lot of use out of this color, and I love the formula on this. It's super, super creamy. I'll show you. That was one swipe. Super, super creamy, really pigmented, and it is matte. It's not a drying matte, but you definitely feel like it's nice and matte, and it lasts a really long time on your lips, even if you eat and whatnot. I do feel like this lasts a long time. I think these are great lipsticks for the price. Even not for the price, they're just great in general. I really do like this lipstick, so I'm kind of curious about trying some more of these actually. The satin I like. I wouldn't say this is a standout, but I do really like these too. This is in the shade Girl Please, and this is just a great everyday nude shade for me. These are a bit more sheer. I don't know if they're all this way. That was, a few swipes. So the only thing with this is that I feel like I need to kind of go over it a lot. Otherwise it's very sheer and it doesn't last a long time. So this one doesn't have as great of lasting power, which is not a surprise. But I just feel like I have more lipsticks that are like this, and that doesn't you know, impress me quite as much as the matte one does, but I do really like this and I will use this a lot. I mean, there's, you know, I can wear this on tons of occasions. It will go with basically any look, this shade especially. But I am curious if other satin ones are quite as sheer as this one. It's not necessarily a downside for me. I just don't like it quite as much as the matte one. All right, so those are all the products. I think that I had a pretty good selection of things, things that I liked, things that I didn't. Let me know, again, if there are other products from this line that you're curious about. I can't say that I'm like super, super excited about this entire line. There are things that I came away really enjoying, but a lot of the things were just okay to me. The only things that I really fell in love with were the lipsticks and the brush. The eyeshadows are, you know, kind of, you know, so-so. I like them. I'm not in love with them either. They're not like my favorite eyeshadows ever, but I think, again, if you're looking for something, you know, fairly inexpensive, but that's really nice, this is a good option. The eyeliner, can't say that that's my favorite. And then of course, you know, the tint and the powder I'm returning, so I don't love those. But I think that this is a great line to explore if you are curious about it. And again, I think it's really cool that it's, you know, been created really in collaboration, much more so than other things, I think, with these, you know, with these influencers. It's really a very cool thing, I think. And, you know, again, I'm surprised that a lot of people aren't talking about this line. I will point out that I think it's really interesting. Since I filmed my first video, Coffee Break with Danny, who is my favorite of these influencers that, you know, collaborated on this brand, she quit COL-LAB. She didn't really clarify why. I know that she's been having a lot of issues, you know, personally with her health and whatnot, so that may be part of the reason. I'm not really sure. She didn't go into detail, but I just thought that that was kind of interesting. It's not going to stop me from, you know, using the products. I think that they, you know, they speak for themselves. It's not about her, and she claims that she's still going to continue using them because she does really enjoy them. And of course she helped create them, so that never will, you know, stop. That just is what it is. But she's not going to continue in the future. So I just thought that that was something interesting and something that I thought I would point out. All right, everyone, so that concludes my update on the products that I tried from COL-LAB. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video, and let me know in the comments below if you're surprised by some of my opinions on these things. Did you think that I was gonna like what I didn't like? Did you think that I was going to dislike what I liked? I'm just curious. Please give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it and if you want to see me talk about more brands that you don't know a lot about in the future. Also, please subscribe if you are not already. I would really like it if you stuck around, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.